Good evening. So, during the day we allowed our little experimental solution dry completely, and as I mentioned, it dries perfectly white. Now, this kind of changes our color, and if you look at our sheets, let's just make sure this is all going good. Gonna make sure everything's going properly. I actually have a way, if I can find my mouse. Okay, doing good. So, today we got our solution, and this is the technique that I wrote about in the November 2017 article in Model Railroad Hobbyist magazine. I don't know if it was a great article or not, but it's got some pretty... Look at what this stuff does. It's pretty intense. And one of the biggest features of this stuff is that normally when you use chalks or white paint and stuff like that for mortar lines, when you seal it up with your matte spray, it diminishes the white, and this stuff doesn't diminish, so we're gonna have to bring the color back to what we had it at, because this is what color it started out as, and as you can see it's much different now. So we're gonna grab some of want to have some nice browns. I'm gonna put it on, make ourselves a nice palette here. Do the Bob Ross thing. A little bit of brown over here, and a little bit of raw sienna over here. And I'm gonna put some terracotta in here too. It's a little bit way loose, so gotta be careful about that. I've got some real brown, which is like a burnt umber. It's really thick too. I really like it. I'm gonna use it on some parts of this, but I think it's not a neutral tone that'll disappear. So what we've got is a new glass of water. Our water from this morning was a science experiment gone bad. Okay. I don't know quite how this is going to work out yet, so I don't know what brush to grab. What we want to do here is lightly recolor the brick faces. And we want to leave our mortar lines intact for the most part. So I might use the brush just to control the palette. And let's see how the brush works. working pretty good. Never quite know how a technique is gonna work. Is it gonna work out or not until you get into it. Actually, that's looking a little bit better. Okay, let's see what a sponge does. Try. Works much better. I don't like it. We're leaving lines. Okay. It works good in some spots and no good in others. Let's try this brush. It's got a stiffer brush end on it. get underneath the ledge. The white stuff likes to stick underneath the ledge there, so just get a paintbrush on it and move it. It's a little blotchy, but it's starting to look really nice, especially for our first coat back at it. At least in my opinion. Or from this point of view, I don't even know what it looks like on the camera yet. Actually, a lot of paint on my brush. Just really lightly pulling it down. There's clearly why there's some splotches that are happening, but maybe if I pay attention to it, I'll get better at it. And as I'm saying that, I'm thinking to myself, prepare for the biggest blotch you've ever seen in your life, Mr. Perry. So last week we had a couple of music nights where we had the chat hooked up to my Spotify, and the viewers could request songs, and those videos both got blocked. Which isn't the goal. The goal isn't to make money off of artists' music, number one. I don't care about losing the money on a video. That gets demonetized. So, but what I do care about is the content sticking around on the channel. And I really can't do that on YouTube. And while I have been avoiding streaming on Twitch, I think I'm going to return to streaming on Twitch on the weekends. Excuse me for a second. So that we can... It's a lot of fun to be able to unwind and talk in the chat with my viewers. You know, it's really hard to interact in chat while I'm building a model, because I have to concentrate on the technique at hand. So on the weekends, if you are interested in hanging out, I guess, talking inside baseball kind of stuff, we're gonna start doing that on Twitch and on my other YouTube channel under the name Ron Perry, because it seems that a lot of people have joined that channel looking for just another scale modeler, because people know what my real name is. So we'll start streaming over there on the weekends, doing fun stuff that's going to get demonetized and unpublished. And if you want to see those videos after the fact, if you missed them, they'll be available over on Twitch, where they'll just mute part of the video out and, you know, leave all the chat and all that stuff, all the good stuff. And that way, I can finally get my act together with this YouTube thing and start entertaining people a little bit more, and not bug my oldest demographic, because they're the first ones to go when that stuff starts happening. You know, even though we got these splotches of dark color over here, don't fret about things like that, because if you're really geeked on getting this as good as possible, you can do these various layers over and over again. We can put down the white again. Put down the white in certain sections. Then come back and bring it up red again. Go back white. You can do it as many times as you want, really, as long as you don't overdo it every time. Okay. Just finish this off all the way. Across this panel. And then we can come back with the brush or the sponge. Now we don't want to get a sponge texture. I know that a sponge texture looks good as a technique at first sight, but I never liked it because I always saw a texture in it, a repeatable pattern, and all it takes in modeling, all it takes is one little thing to ruin the magic of it. And to me, sometimes a sponge pattern ruins the magic. Get a little water in there, pick up the remnants. Oops. I can paint back over that. Oops. Okay. Stop this. Madness. It's madness. Total madness. Okay, so let's muck around with this. I think you're beginning to separate on me. I think we're gonna have to bring some orange back into this thing. Yeah. See what this does. We're gonna put another layer of mortar on tonight and let it dry till morning. This is the game plan. Excuse me. I'm gonna let this dry for a minute while we start working on some windows. I gotta check the chat though. Hi Ron Brights, how you doing? Yes, the makeup sponge is wet before using it. It's damp though, it's not wet. I don't want any water dripping out of it when I squeeze it. Hello, Jeff. Thank you for subscribing tonight. I think you came from Sparky's stream. Thank you very much. Thanks, John, for stopping by. Yep, the replay is always available to everybody who's wants to check it out. Just make sure I'm caught up here. Thank you for watching. This is right on. Doing not too bad, just relaxing and watching. That's the beauty of these casts. It's a little bit of modeling. Watch somebody fail drastically and dig himself out of that hole again. You know how it is. If you guys like these podcasts or these little live streams, to support them, make sure that they keep coming out on a regular basis. You can go to patreon.com/Ron Perry. You also get notified when the new podcast or the new streams come out. YouTube doesn't always do that. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, click the bell. And if you want to help with the new shop floor, consider donating at modelersguild.com/donate. Your donation will be recorded as part of the goal meter and also be shown in the event list with all the subscribers, the new subscribers coming in. About 112 or 20 of you. Welcome. Thanks for giving me a chance. So we're going to let this panel dry out for about a half an hour. Then I'm going to add a little bit more mortar to it to see how that affects it. We want it to look pretty nice for Ken's high quality cameras. I'm also still trying to locate where the black stripe should go in terms of the building name. Huh. So we kind of made a mess of the desk. So we got windows here. These are for the extension. We've got window sills. We've got ducting. We've got more window sills, boxes, decking, or the frame for decking, a water tower, some chimneys. These walk panels, I don't want to do anything at all to it. It's perfect the way he laser cuts these. He etches the wood. It's totally perfect the way that's done. So we're gonna paint the doors on the sheet here. Also paint all the metal runs here, the hanger, whatever you call it. We got pallets here, wood pallets, and it's a really nifty system the way he's got it set up. I take these boards and I cut them to length and super glue them on. It's a little fiddly to make them, but they're super, they're the best. They're really nice. Like it's nice to not have to color your pallets properly. You can't make it's wood already. Parts to the water tower. These are the these are for the venting. We'll do that after, though. This is a piece we don't have to do right now. Put that right there. Water tower wrap. More windows. And the rooftop door. Okay. Okay, I don't like... It is a option to leave these little pieces of wood in the windows. And imagine that laser art is they're the newer kits. If you're buying a new kit off them, they're fanatical about getting these things cut properly, because there's nothing worse than getting a window that you can't get these out of. And I know that we've talked about it, and that they've said that they do a lot towards quality assurance to make sure that these windows are cut out properly. And that's why I was pulling off tape off the back of the structure when we first started, because those parts will just fall out of the wall, and that's the way you want it. When you're taking these parts out, you sometimes if you want to save those parts and not have them fly all around the kit in transit, you have to tape them in. So I just have to knock these out of the place. I haven't come up on one yet that's been stuck to. Oh, I spoke too soon. I think that's what the first one that was kind of tight. It's one of the remarkable things about this kit company is that I've watched them grow from very bold dreams of the first owner, then the second owner got it, and then watching the second owner get better and better at laser cutting and kit design itself. It's kind of fun. Of course, when I build a kit, I always have some notes that I send in an email to them. Now, lately I've been doing a lot of glue windows. And these windows are a breeze to make into the glue windows. Especially if you want to stain the glass with a little bit of acrylic glue. You can spread a really thin layer of glue and get the glue as translucent as possible. It's because these panes are so small. Okay. few more. This is the tedious part about kits. Prepping parts. However, like I said, a lot of people have left these in and painted them as random panes that have been maybe smashed out by those damn kids. However, I'm not into that. And if I ever do become into it, I could just throw a pane in after. I just want to get them all out. Okay. Alright, let me find me paint. That one doesn't sound good. Oh, I'll go like that. I was gonna do a darker green, but I think this might contrast with the brick a little bit more. I want it to pop. Ooh, that's nasty. Oh. Yuckers. Wow. Oh. Ooh. Oh. Now I've got a thinner that I use to recover a paint from that stage. It has alcohol, water, and glycerin in it, and works really well actually. I got a new shop coming, and got a nice whiteboard for the shop, and we're gonna do a lot of videos. You're gonna do it all green, and then when it gets closer being put on the building, we might change the color to dark green or maybe blue or... Now, painting in the sheet is it's a fun little practice and all, but don't forget that the edges of these parts have to be painted too. So when you get these parts out of the sheet, you'll notice that the edges are all brown on you. It might not look the way you wanted it to. Might not look fully painted. Paint the back of these. Like these railings, they'll come out and they'll need a final paint up. Even though I've painted both sides. Okay. I don't know what color I'm going to paint these in the end. Maybe white, but I want to get some color on them so that when we get them on, we don't have to paint the whole thing. Even if it's a white color, you can paint the edges. Leave the edges a little bit darkened still. Adds depth to the whole effect. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. So these windows have to dry with this. I'll put it over here. I know I have a big jar of army green somewhere. I'm gonna paint some sills. Now, this is a case in point for painting parts outside of the sprue as well as inside of the sprue. These sills, paint them gray inside the sheet, but leaves about 1/8 of an inch of burn mark on them still, so you got to paint that part too, otherwise it sticks out like a sore thumb. I need to get myself a drink. We're going to take a break in a minute after I get these out. They only have one little small tab holding them in. So I'm just going along cutting that one tab and propping up the part and knocking them out. This is a good time to have a piece of tape like this. Ugh. Okay. This is where the neck starts hurting when you working on these paint projects for a few hours at a time. I'm gonna have to take a break in a minute because once this pain starts coming on, I don't like to stretch it out too much. It's because my eyes are bad that I gotta arch my neck towards the model. Okay. We're going to let all these parts dry up. I don't want to add any mortar to this just yet. I might not add any at all. I'm going to put this here so I can see it on camera though too, because I think that's important that I know what it looks like on camera, that what you guys are looking at too. Okay, let's go see what's happening in chat, if anything at all. Hey, Lionel Train. Well, let me look on Discord. Train Boy. How are you doing tonight? I am going to take a little bit of a break. Probably jump back on in the morning. I've streamed a couple hours today, so if you want to get this full build from the very start, it's all available. Thanks for watching. If you like these videos, subscribe, press the bell, press like. And buy me a beer. modellersguild.com/donate. Just kidding. No, not kidding. Talk to you later.